Hello everyone, nerds and norms alike. Today we're kicking off a series that takes a look at some of your favorite physics-defying adorable beasties. Pokemon. Pokemon was huge for me growing up. Before being a nerd was cool and it actively got you removed from many social events. Sometimes the Pokemon were my only friends. Sorry, Link and Mario, you guys were always off on your own adventures, while my Pokemon and I lounged around the house waiting for you to come back like the dad I never had. Now that I have grown, they've become quite nostalgic little fellows. It just so happens that my son is a huge fan of them too. So now I get to enjoy them the way Bulbasaur here enjoys composting, gardening, and a big ol' snuggle. We play the games, collect the toys, and talk about how cool it would be if they were real and which ones we would have. So without further ado, let's start at the top of the Pokedex with 5 awesome reasons why everybody should have a Bulbasaur. He's one of the original starters and the first Pokemon that I ever had. Something about the jolly green gardener just called out to me. Some people say he was the easy mode of Pokemon Red and Blue, and Green for overseas releases. Which is pretty accurate when you consider that once he learned Vine Whip at level 12, he stomped Brock into rubble. And became Misty's waking nightmare as he whipped her and her water type so hard they couldn't sit down properly for a whole week. Lieutenant Surge even had trouble getting through his adorable hide. He was a tough little bugger considering he was only about 2 feet tall and weighed about 15 pounds. That's right, he would be small enough that if you were too poor to buy Pokeballs, you could literally just befriend one and carry him around with you everywhere you go. I don't know the conversion rate from US dollars to Pokecash, but if it was the same $200 a pop for a single-use item, that would get costly so fast. Anyway, Bulbasaur is about the equivalent of a medium-sized dog. Which is just a testament to how awesome he is. If you ever saw the Pokemon show and watched him pull Ash back up a rocky cliff. But what kind of creature would Bulbasaur be in real life? Many people see his little face and immediately think of frog, which I guess I can see, but the legs don't really make sense for a frog seeing how he moves. I would expect a lot more hopping from a frog. Plus, his stylish toenails are something that frogs just wouldn't have, considering most of them have little adhesive tips for them to stick to things, and Bulbasaur's got those clawed hoofs for him to dig into the dirt with. It would make more sense to me for him to be a mix of a bearded dragon and a turtle. The speed at which he moves along, and the little ridges on his head, make me think bearded dragon, while the bulb on his back makes me think turtle. As turtles are one of the few reptiles that would allow the symbiotic relationship of backplant. Turtles are often seen with algae growing off the back of them. Although I have not really seen a swimming Bulbasaur very much. If you think those are odd creatures to mix, remember that ligers are a thing. And the people who believe in them think that platypus are quite abnormal creatures themselves. But we know the truth, that platypus are just as real as unicorns. Turtle Dragon makes just as much sense as that. Another reason why Bulbasaur would make a perfect starting Pokemon would be all the awesome things that you could do with one by your side in real life. Imagine all the practical applications. His vines could easily reach things out of arm's length. Take that, Kobe! Dunk on this reach. Combined with his Razor Leaf, he would be ideal at making camping shelters. He could produce leech seeds, which would have to be delicious toasted, right? Plus, if anyone breached your nature quarters to steal your tasty harvest of leech seed souffle, he would basically be able to melt your enemies with a beam of raw energy harvested from the power of the friggin' sun. Sunny D wishes they could compete with this awesome power. Not to mention, plants produce oxygen while consuming CO2, making him the most adorable air filter ever. He would basically be able to supply the air you need in any situation, effectively lowering your carbon footprint. Who needs trees? I would imagine that he is an omnivore on top of the photosynthesis, so he could just snack on vine jerky by breaking off little end pieces. And in more serious cases, feasting on the flesh of your enemies. Making a real-life comparison as well, his bulb could be a number of plants, considering that as he is just bulb. So let's be creative. The peace lily is a common houseplant that often gets about as big as the bulb in question. And I, for one, think Bulbasaur would be epic looking with one of those sprouting out. Just look at him. The lovely lily has many benefits as well. They eliminate about 60% of air pollutants while making it more habitable. They absorb acetone vapors, they remove mold spores from the air, and they also suck out a lot of the extra moisture from the air, making it really hard for there to be mildew, and nobody likes that smell. The benefits outweigh the costs for this little buddy beastie. Well guys, that about wraps it up for this episode. But before I go, I've got a fun idea. We imagined Peace Lily Bulbasaur, and that was friggin' awesome. But what kind of plant, or plants, would you like to see growing out of him? Use your imagination and tell me down in the comments. Or, even better, for my more artistic friends, I would love to see you draw your creations. I really enjoyed seeing the holiday and seasonal art for Bulbasaur online. Did you guys see the little pumpkin on his back? That was freaking adorable. Upload them in the comments or post them on our Facebook page for Critic Alley. Or over on our Instagram page at Trial by Comedy, which we mostly use for the other show, but go ahead and infiltrate that. Show me your Bulbasaur. I look forward to hearing from you and viewing all your creations. Gotta catch you all next time.